So today we will discuss about centrifugation. This is one of the important topic in pharmaceutical engineering. And if you see the overall concepts related to centrifugation, that will revolve or that will be in context to your chapter of filtration, isn't it? So when we will go for centrifugation or when analyst can take help of filtration, that kind of application oriented concept that we will study in this particular topic. And we will start or we will dig this particular topic from a very basic concepts related to centrifugation, what is centrifugal force, what is centrifuge, or maybe what is a centrifugal effect. So as we are talking about centrifugation, so what is your understanding on this particular topic? What it will be? Yes, any idea? Anyone? Or what will be application of centrifugation?
To separate heavy and the light particles.
Separation, yes, perfect. Okay, any other sharing on this?
In this, the mass and the radius are inversely proportional.
Okay, whatever Kunj reflected, that is also correct. Any other sharing? Yes. See, we will just start from very basic concept, that is what is centrifugation, or maybe how will you define centrifugation. So centrifugation, it is the process in which centrifugal force is used as a driving force for phase separation, isn't it? So here I have written this is a centrifugal force playing role as a driving force. For what purpose? For phase separation. Phase separation means what? If two immiscible liquids are there, we can easily separate these two liquids with the help of centrifugation or maybe equipments which works on a principle of centrifugation. So obviously centrifuge is what then? It is a equipment that is used for separation, and that is called as a centrifuge. And one more terminology that we will discuss, that is called as centrifugal effect or a relative centrifugal force. So here I have written centrifugal effect or a relative centrifugal force. So what it is centrifugal effect or a relative centrifugal force? It is the ratio of what? Two parameters. One is the centrifugal force and another parameter is about gravitational force. So that's why I have written over here as a F divided by G. So F represents centrifugal force which we are using as a driving force in centrifugation with respect to gravitational forces. And gravitational forces we will represent with the symbol G. Clear this particular point? So you can define now. If question, if I ask a question, what is centrifugation? So based on these three terminologies, you can say centrifugation is the process in which centrifugal force is used as a driving force for phase separation. The separation between the liquid and solid, or the separation between the liquid and solid phases, these are on the basis of the particle size and the density difference. So here two important terminologies you have to keep in mind. One is particle size and density. So on a similar line in drying chapter, if you remember, we have captured one key terminology, and that terminology was the heat transfer and the mass transfer. All the drying equipments were working on these two principles, heat and mass transfer. So on a similar line, when you study this centrifugation chapter, these two words are the keywords in our every discussion. Particle size and the density means whatever the phase separation we are doing, that will occur on the principle of particle size and density. Clear this particular point? So the equipment used for separation is known as a centrifuge, and centrifuges are also used for separation of macromolecules, then separation of two immiscible liquids, then separation of liquid solid mixture, or to concentrate the small molecular species, and to concentrate the gases having a different molecular weight. So in all these areas we are using centrifugation, isn't it? Separation of these macromolecules, immiscible liquids, molecular sizes, and the gases having the different molecular weight. And centrifugation is widely employed when filtration is not possible, isn't it? So I'm just making it cross. So wherever filtration is not possible, at that time the better choice or better option is centrifugation. Clear this point? Any doubt over here? Then we will talk about some application part of this centrifugation phenomena in our day-to-day pharmaceutical industry processing. So you can say the first point in application part, suppose if you are saying over here, total 7 points are there as a part of applications. So the first point that says centrifugation is widely used in bulk drug industry. For what purpose? To separate the crystalline material from the suspension. Then centrifugation is also used for isolation of bacterial cells like Actinomycetes mycelium and some spores from the liquid growth. Also, centrifugation is used for separation of blood cells, maybe RBCs, WBCs from the blood. Then one more terminology that we can add over here is about ultracentrifuge. So what is ultracentrifuge? Or it is used for the separation of virus particles which are utilized in industrial applications. Also, it is used for separating drug present in a blood, maybe urine and the tissue fluid. And this is essential for evaluation of pharmacokinetic parameters and the bioequivalence studies. So dear students, what do you understand with terminology pharmacokinetics? Pharmacokinetics is nothing but when any drug compound, we will evaluate or we will check on a pointer such as what will be its absorption, what will be its distribution in body, then by which reaction it will go undergo the metabolism, and what will be the excretion or maybe the elimination of this particular compound. So you can say that it is used for separating the drug present in a blood, urine and tissue fluid, and it is one of the pharmacokinetic parameters as well as bioequivalence parameter. Also, centrifugation is used to obtain the pure form of insulin by selective precipitating other fraction of protein and separate them by the ultracentrifugation, isn't it? So this is about pure form of insulin we can easily separate with the help of centrifugation. And another point we can consider as it is used to determine the molecular weight of polymers, serum albumin, or maybe the insulin and methyl cellulose. So these are the some applications you can quote. Yes, please. Any doubts, students? So these are the some points we can consider as applications of centrifugation. So I have mentioned the key points over here. So you can easily correlate bulk drug industry, bacterial cells, blood cell separation. Then for virus particles, ultracentrifugation is one of the widely used technique. Then pharmacokinetics, we can check ADME. Then pure form of insulin can be easily separate out, and it is used for to determine the molecular weight of polymers such as serum albumin is there, insulin is there, and methyl cellulose is there. So what will be principle of centrifugation then? Now you know. Now these are the points you are aware. Some terminologies: what is centrifugation, centrifuge, centrifugal effect. Then important keyword is based on particle size and density. We will separate the particles. Then application parts also you know. So you can now easily talk about the principle or maybe the theory or the principle behind this centrifugation. So we can extract important keyword over here is a sedimentation. Isn't it? I have written over here that sedimentation. So you can say in sedimentation that the centrifuge involves the principle of sedimentation, where the acceleration at a centripetal force causes the denser substances to separate along the radial direction at the bottom of the tube, and the lighter objects that will move up the tube. So you can imagine in our tube or maybe in a test tube, if we are taking any kind of the suspension, so what will happen? The heavy particles are there that will get easily settle down, whereas less heavy particles or the lighter particles that will be remain towards the edges or maybe towards at the top of the particular liquid portion. So this is called as a centrifugation. So we can say the particles having size more than 5 micrometer, these are generally separated by filtration, whereas the particles whose size is less than 5 micrometer, that is called as centrifugation. And this is the key difference, if you are appearing for any competitive examination, maybe the GPAT or any other examination. So maybe this is a kind of tricky question. Less than 5 micrometer, we can always take help of centrifugal equipment. And if the size is more than 5 micrometer and with other conditions, then we can go for the filtration. Clear this point, students? Any doubt over here? Then we will talk about some equation, or when we are talking about this particular definition, that is centrifugal effect is F by G, that is force and the acceleration due to the gravity, that is the F by G. So in this case we will start from equation, or let us consider a body of mass, that is m, rotating in a circular path, isn't it? So this is any body or the particle having the size m or the mass m, and which is rotating in a circular path. This particular mass is rotating in a circular path, isn't it, like this continuously. And we will consider r is the radius and v is the velocity of that particle. So r is the radius. For example, this is a center point, so circumference will be this, the total area, and here we are talking as a r. So obviously this is the diameter divided by 2 is equal to r, radius we will call it is, and v is the velocity, isn't it? So the force acting on the body in a radial direction, which is rotating over here, so that force we can write in a mathematical form, that is F is equal to mv square divided by r. What it is? F is equal to mv square by r. We are considering the force acting on the body, whatever the mass we are using over here, isn't it, in this example, or in this particular case, which is rotating in a circular direction. So this F represents the mv square divided by r, that is acting on the body in a radial direction, and formula we can write it is as F is equal to mv square by r, and g is the acceleration due to gravity. So this is obviously small mg, isn't it? Small mg. And capital F is what? That is the force acting on the body in a radial direction, and G is the gravitational force acting upon the same body. And how will you calculate the gravitational force? That is G is equal to mg. G is a gravitational force and small g is the acceleration due to gravity. So the centrifugal effect or relative centrifugal force. What is the formula of relative centrifugal force then? We have seen over here, isn't it, in this equation? C is equal to F by G. Now obviously we have the value of F and value of G. Everybody is getting this particular point? F is square divided by R, G is equal to mg, and we know the C is equal to F by G. So F represents, or this formula we will substitute the value of F and G here in this equation. So obviously it will come as a mv square divided by mgr. This mass gets cancelled and C is equal to v square divided by gr. Clear up to this? Now what is a v? The velocity is what? We will consider it as a 2 pi rn, isn't it? So I am just mentioning over here the value of v, that we will consider it is as v is equal to 2 pi rn. Clear? V is equal to 2 pi Rn, and this value we are substituting in this equation, above equation. C is equal to V square divided by GR. Therefore 2 pi Rn square divided by GR, and again it will go as 4 pi square R square N square divided by GR, and this N represents speed of rotation, that is revolutions per second of centrifuge, and 2R is equal to D, that is the diameter of the rotation. By putting this value in a equation, this equation, isn't it? We are keeping this value 2R is equal to D in this particular equation. So the equation becomes 2 pi square into dn square divided by g, and acceleration due to gravity is fixed value, that is 9.807 meter per second square, and we will substitute these values in this equation, and we will get the final equation as centrifugal force is equal to 2.013 into n square into the d. So what is your understanding from this? From this equation, it is concluded that the centrifugal effect is directly proportional to the diameter of particles, and n square is the speed of rotation. Clear this particular point? What is the conclusion or what is the takeaway? From this equation, we can conclude that the centrifugal effect is directly proportional to the diameter, and the n square is the speed of rotation. Any doubt over here? You can raise the questions, or if no, you can just give signal as a go ahead. Clear? The first point is about various terminologies. Second point is about basic principle or maybe the theory behind the centrifugation. And third point, whatever the principle we are talking, that will come up based on certain equations. And common equation is C is equal to F by G. And F is the force, whereas the G is the acceleration due to the gravity. Any doubt over here? Alisha, Anjani, Bhavya?
No, sir.
Okay, all right. So next point that we will consider for discussion is about classification of various equipments which works on centrifugation phenomena. So students, these are the four equipments that we are using or we are taking as a part of our discussion. So which are that? Perforated one, second point is about non-perforated one, and third point is about semi-continuous centrifuge, and fourth point is about super centrifuge. So all these equipments that will work on centrifugation phenomena, and right now you know what is a centrifugation, what is a centrifugal force, in what way the force and acceleration due to gravity playing important role in a phase separation. So we will talk all these equipments one by one based on some pointers. See, in drawing we have taken some pointers for example, to describe the drum dryer or maybe the tray dryer or supercritical fluid or spray dryer. The same pointers we are taking over here to discuss this perforated basket, non-perforated one, semi-continuous one, and super centrifuge one. So these pointers you all are aware. So we will see what is the principle of perforated basket centrifuge, what will be the construction of perforated basket centrifuge, then overall working pattern, then uses of this centrifuge, then what are advantages and what are disadvantages of this centrifuge. Clear this point? So the first equipment that we will consider for discussion is about perforated basket centrifuge. See, one important point you have to keep in mind, important keywords. Phase separation or the separation occurs based on density and based on the particle size. So when we are talking about perforated basket centrifuge, what is the principle of this perforated basket centrifuge? That separation occurs through the perforated wall depends on the difference in the densities of solid and the liquid phases. As we are separating mixture, maybe solid and liquid, so obviously they have a certain densities, and based on these densities we will get the separation. Clear this point? Then another point we can add in overall construction of this equipment or construction of this centrifuge. So what are the points? That it consists of stainless steel perforated basket lined with filter cloth, isn't it? As you're observing, this is perforated basket having the holes, isn't it, over here, and this is a filter cloth, and this is a casing stainless steel frame, or maybe the side walls we are saying, and the basket should be made up of corrosion resistant material, and the basket is covered with vulcanite or copper or maybe the lead kind of the metal materials, and basket is mounted on frame, or we can say this particular basket, perforated basket, is mounted on a shaft which is used for the rotation, isn't it? So this is a mounting shaft, isn't it? So on this shaft this basket is mounted, perforated basket is mounted, and this shaft gets continuous rotation or a revolution. So if the basket is mounted above the driving shaft, then this particular arrangement is called as underdriving, isn't it? Above the shaft, this basket is mounted. So this is above the shaft. So this is a underdriving kind of mechanism. But when this particular basket is uh, suspended from the shaft, then it is known as a overdriven, isn't it? So that's why both terminologies we have written. What is a underdriven and what is a overdriven? And another point we can add in a construction, that the shaft is driven by the motor. The basket is surrounded by the casing which collect the filtrate and discharge through the outlet. The diameter of basket is around 0.90 meter, and the basket requires 5 kilowatt power for starting and after attaining the desired speed. The power is reduced to 2 kilowatt, and the diameter of perforation that depends on crystal size, and the basket operated at a speed around 1000 rpm, isn't it? So this particular basket is operating on a 1000 rpm. Clear what is the basic principle and what is construction of this perforated basket centrifuge? Then we can talk on working pattern. So what will be the
Sir,
working?
can you please repeat principle?
Yes, 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 yes. See, the basic principle of this perforated basket centrifuge is exclusively on particle size and the particle density. So what we can say over here, or what we can write, that separation occurs through this perforated wall that depends on the difference in a densities of a solid and the liquid phases. So this is a basic principle. Now you know the construction of this particular centrifuge. Now we will talk about overall working. In what way the solid and liquid gets separate based on the density. So we can add, or we can see the description based on the working of this particular equipment. So material is loaded into the basket. So this is a basket, isn't it? So this is a perforated basket you are observing over here, isn't it? So this is the perforation mark. So material you will get over here in this basket. Those you have to separate. And the amount of loaded material, that should be optimum, not too much and not too less. And the loading of the material should provide the even distribution, and the power is supplied to rotate the basket. But when fully loaded basket is rotated at a high speed, then there are the chances of great strain and the vibration due to centrifugal force. So the basket contains the perforated wall, and during centrifugation liquid phase leaves through the perforated wall and collected at the outlet, while the solid phase retains in this particular basket. And then turn off the power, centrifuge is stopped by applying the brake, and the basket keep to rest, and then solid is removed, and the solid cake is cut by the blade or maybe the knife. Clear working pattern. Then in uses, what we can add in uses, perforated basket centrifuge is used to separate the crystalline drug such as aspirin and sulfamethoxazole from the liquid part, or maybe from the mother liquor, to separate the sugar crystals and to separate the precipitated protein from the insulin which we are using the this particular centrifuge. And in advantage, we can always say that sorry, it is employed when solid concentration in slurry is high and it occupy very little space and a rapid process, and the resulting product contains very low moisture content. So that kind of the advantages you can write as a part of this centrifuge. And in disadvantages, we can always say on a prolonged operation, the centrifugal force put the greater strain on a basket, which cause the wear and tear of the equipment. And on prolonged operation, solid gets converted into the hard cake, which is difficult to remove, and it's a batch operation, isn't it? So batch and continuous mode, you know, in drying also we have this in this two terminologies, batch mode and the continuous mode. Then another equipment we will talk, that is non-perforated basket centrifuge. So this is very easy for discussion because you know now the perforation and the non-perforation. So what will be the difference between this perforation and non-perforation according to you, or what kind of points you can write on non-perforated basket centrifuge? Anyone please? Diagram is in front of you. So you can say in principle that in this centrifuge the basket contains non-perforated side wall, isn't it? So there is a non-perforation basket we are using. Then another point we can add over here, the separation of solid and liquid phase depends on difference in the densities of both the phases without porous barrier, same like as perforation. And during centrifugation, solid deposited at the side of the basket while the liquid remain at the top, which is removed by the skimming tube. So this is the same black part you are observing over here. This is the solid part, and this liquid is just float here in this basket, and with the help of skimming tube or maybe kind of a straw structure, we can easily remove this liquid part here on this non-perforated basket centrifuge. Clear? In construction you can write it consists of non-perforated basket that is made up of steel, and the material is loaded into the basket through the feed tube. So this is a feed tube, you can load the material here, and what we can say, the basket is mounted on a vertical shaft which is rotated by the motor. So this is the shaft, and this will be the connected to the electric supply, and because of this basket get the circulation or maybe the moment. And during centrifugation, uh, the material means whatever the material we are loading over here, that gets separate with this help of the basket, is because the basket is mounted on the vertical shaft, isn't it? And once it is rotated by the motor, the liquid is removed with the help of the skimming tube once the separation occurs. And in working, we can say the suspension is fed into the basket continuously through this feeder tube. And once the material is loaded during centrifugation, solid deposited at the side of basket while the liquid is remain at the top, which is removed by skimming tube. And when sufficient amount of solid gets deposited at the side of the basket, then it is removed intermittently by the hand and continuously with the help of the scraper blade. So based on deposition of the solid material here in this basket. Uses we can mention, non-perforated basket centrifuge is employed when deposited solids provide the high resistance to the flow of the liquid, isn't it? And advantages and disadvantages the same, like whatever we have seen over here in perforated basket centrifuge. That in advantages we can say these centrifuge are employed when solid concentration in a slurry is high, then it occupies the very little space, rapid process, and the resulting product contains very low moisture content. And in disadvantages, we can say on prolonged operation, the centrifugal force put greater strain on the basket, which causes the wear and tear of the equipment. Then on prolonged operation, solid gets converted into the hard cake, which is difficult to remove, and it is batch operation again. So this is disadvantages of non-perforated basket centrifuge. So clear, students? Any doubt over here? Then the third point that we will talk about, construction of semi-continuous centrifuge. So you are observing here, this is a basket we are using, then this is the knife for cutting, this is the filter medium, this is the slurry feed, isn't it? And this is the wash pipe is there, and this is the oral discharge assembly. So, and whatever we are getting, that will be the dry crystals. So this is a construction of semi-continuous centrifuge. So in semi-continuous centrifuge, separation occurs through the perforated wall, depends on the difference in the densities of solid and liquid phases. So dear students, keep these two terminologies, particle size and the density. In all these equipments, centrifuge equipments, we can start the principle with same terminologies or with the same sentence, that separation occurs through the perforated wall on the difference in the densities of solid and liquid phases. In construction, it consists of perforated basket mounted on horizontal shaft and run continuously by the motor. So in earlier equipments there was a vertical, and this is the horizontal basket over here installed in this particular equipment. The side of the basket is perforated. Feed or suspension is introduced through the feed pipe, and there is also provision of wash pipe which is used to wash the crystals. The thickness of a feed that depends on the feeder, or that depends on the filler which rides over the feed, and the layer of the cake is removed by knife or maybe the scraper or maybe the cutter, and this generally cutter cuts down the cake or whatever the deposition of solid within the basket, and this knife assembly or maybe the blade kind of the assembly is raised with the help of hydraulic pressure. So once the deposition occurs, so with the help of hydraulic pressures, this knife gets up and cut the this particular segment. This is overall construction part of this centrifuge. And in working,
Sir,
बोलो.
what is it made up of?
डिंसी, आपका आवाज नहीं आ रहा है. You can ask this question again, please.
Sir, what is it made up of?
What is it made up of?
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, first of all, we will talk about the working part, and then you will get an idea for this. So this basket is rotated horizontally with the motor, as you are observing. So this is the continuous horizontal movement. Then the suspension is introduced through the pipe. So whatever the separation we have to do. So this is the feed, slurry. जो भी आपको separate करना है, that you will add over here in this slurry, and that will come over here in a basket with the, and this basket is a continuously on agitation basis, and the slurry passes through the perforated side, so the crystals remain inside the basket and the filtrate is eliminated from the outlet. And when the height of the cake is generally approximately about 2 to 3 inches, isn't it? Over here in this basket, here the separation is occurring, and when this solid deposition is around 2 to 3 inch, at the time with the help of this knife, that solid part gets cut off, isn't it? And this solid part will come over here as a dry crystal part or maybe the dry material, and the filtrate is eliminated from the outlet, and when the suspension inlet is stopped by a filler diaphragm wall assembly, the basket rotates a predetermined time, and then the solid cake is washed with the water. So the basket is rotated for another predetermined time. After that, again hydraulic pressure raises the knife assembly to cut the solid deposit, and the cake is collected through that particular this section, isn't it? Here we can collect the whatever, and all these things is made up of maybe the stainless steel frame, or maybe this basket is made up of clothes and maybe the crystal particles. So this is again the perforated one, isn't it? Construction of semi-continuous centrifuge. So earlier we have seen is about perforated basket, non-perforated basket, and this is a semi-continuous centrifuge. So in advantages, we can quote, this centrifuge is used to separate the crystals from the mother liquor or solution, and this is used to clarify the liquids by removing the unwanted solids dirt from the oils. And disadvantages, this is a complicated process, sometimes chances of breakage of crystals during the discharge and high power consumption. So these are the points we can add over here in semi-continuous centrifuge. Then one more centrifuge is there, that is about super centrifuge. So we will take this super centrifuge, hardly very short, in 5 minutes we can wind up that super centrifuge. So fourth one is about super centrifuge. So this is a construction of super centrifuge. If you are talking about motor is there, then this is the light paste, then the heavy paste, these are the air spaces, this is the rotating bowl, and this is the feed. So again we can write down principle of super centrifuge. So it is a continuous centrifuge used to separate the two immiscible liquid phases, isn't it? So whatever the immiscible liquids are there, for that purpose we are using super centrifuge, and it is the sedimentation type of centrifuge. During centrifugation, obviously the heavier liquid is thrown against the container wall while the lighter liquid remains as an inner layer, and the two layers are simultaneously separated. So this is again about sedimentation. In construction, it consists of long hollow cylindrical bowl of a small diameter which is suspended from a flexible spindle at the top, and the bottom is fitted loosely in a kind of bush kind of arrangement, isn't it? So this is the overall construction of this. It is rotated on its vertical axis, and feed is introduced through the bottom through this particular nozzle with the help of pressure, and two liquid outlets are provided at different heights inside the are you getting this point? So as you are observing over here, so air space is there and the rotating bowl is there. Or else what we can say here in this case, super centrifuge, what points you can add? Anyone? Or as you know, other three centrifuge. So can you give any specific point on this? Yes. The centrifuge, this is rotate on its vertical axis, maybe at approximately 2000 RPM. And the feed is introduced in the lower part through the nozzle with the help of pressure. And this rotation is set at around 2000 RPM. And during centrifugation, two liquid phases were separated according to their densities, and the heavier liquid that moves towards the periphery, and the lighter liquid forms an inner layer, and both the liquids ascend to the upper part of the vertical bowl, and these two layers are simultaneously removed separately from the different heights through the modified outlets. So in uses, centrifuge is widely used for separating the liquid phases of emulsions in a food, biochemical and pharmaceutical industries. And in advantages we can quote, that this type of centrifuge is employed in case where amount of solid in a liquid is very small and it is necessary to remove it only at long intervals. Clear this point? Any doubt over here in case of super centrifuge? So that the points we have covered in centrifugation, isn't it? Start from the basic terminologies, our important keyword, particle size and density, then liquid and solid macromolecules, or maybe the for what purpose centrifugation is useful, then application parts, then theory or the principle, then mathematical equation to define the centrifugation principle, classification. There are 4 types of centrifugation. You will get any one kind of you will get any kind of this, isn't it? Just give me a minute.